I'm always dancing to it. Hello and welcome to Magical Witchy World TV. I am Star Ravenhawk.
And I am Rhonda Allen. We are so excited to have you all back with us this week.
And tonight we are proud to welcome Mickie Mueller to the Magical Witchy World TV. Hey, Mickie.
Welcome,
Hi.
Mickie.
We
Hello.
want you to say hello and speak for a minute. Want to make sure everyone can hear you.
Right.
Yeah.
Check 1, 2, check.
Well, you sound great to us.
Awesome,
And if
awesome.
somebody
Super.
comes on later and says they can't hear you, we will course correct. But
Right on.
in the meantime, everything sounds wonderful. And again, thank you so much for persisting and coming back this week. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm going to read through your bio. I want to make certain everyone knows who you are and what you have been doing. So here we go. Mickie Mueller, she, her, is a witch, best-selling author, award-winning book illustrator, tarot creator, and YouTube content creator. She's written, illustrated multiple books, articles, and tarot decks for Llewellyn Worldwide, including Mystical Cats Tarot, Magical Dogs Tarot, The Witch's Mirror, and Llewellyn's Little Book of Halloween. Her magical art is distributed internationally and has been seen as set dressing on Sci Fi's The Magicians and Bravo's Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. Her YouTube videos are shot in her studio where she creates art, writes about witchcraft and folklore, and manifests her own style of eclectic everyday magic. She loves to teach practical and innovative ways to work magic using items and ingredients in your home. And you can visit her at mickiemueller.com. So,
Awesome.
again, welcome back to Magical Witchy World TV. We're excited to have you here.
Yeah,
Thank
I was
you,
so
Rhonda. Thank you,
happy to be
Star.
here. Yeah, we've been looking forward to this conversation, and this time we're hoping everyone can hear your answers.
I
Okay.
hope
Yes.
so.
All right. So,
Those who are watching, just put a thumbs up or say something in the chat so we know
yes,
you're
Right.
please let us know. Okay. All right, Mickie. So, over the many years, I'm sure you've referred yourself to different names as you've evolved, and what do you end up calling yourself now? So, I would love to hear that journey and what you're calling yourself now. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. Right now, and probably forevermore, I'm identifying as a witch. Back in the old days, I started practicing in the 90s. And, back then there was a lot. Oh, yay, you can hear everyone. Thank you, Debbie.
All right.
All
Thank
right, we are
you.
on. So, yeah, back in the 90s was when I started on my journey. And back in those days, everything was very Wicca associated. There were, the books that I had access to and all of the like public events I was going to and everything like that. The ritual structure and all of that stuff was very Wiccan oriented. So, back then I was calling myself eclectic Wiccan. I was not involved in any of the covens or anything. I honestly didn't know of any in my area.
Mhm.
So I was, starting off with books just like everybody else back then, I think was a lot of people were at least. So yeah, it's kind of changed and shifted over the years. Basically, what happened was my practice started changing so much as I kind of went along that I dropped a lot of the Wiccan elements to what I was doing. And I realized it's kind of silly to even use that term anymore. Not because Wicca's silly, of course not. I have the highest respect for my Wiccan friends and stuff. But that's the other thing is that I couldn't really go any further than I could at the time with the books that I had. And
Mhm.
I didn't have a coven that was, Wicca specific. So I was like, really, what I'm doing now is just really bare bones witchcraft. It's more kind of tied in with like a folk practice,
Mhm.
and a lot of it is of my kind of own invention based on other things that I read. And so yeah, I was like, I think we're just gonna have to go with witch now,
Yeah.
and it suits.
Fabulous.
It suits.
Yeah. Fabulous. That is something that I think is, I won't say it, I'm not going to say a trend, but I think I'm hearing a lot of people acknowledging the shift
Mm,
as they move through their practice and how
yeah.
things move through them. But let's go backwards in time a little bit. Can you share with us what brought you to this world? What brought you to this world of the witch? Exactly.
Yes, yes. So yeah, back in time. I really started my actual practice in the 90s. But I come from a background of weirdos and artists. That's like my family. So
Love it.
we had, in my home, we had Carlos Castaneda books on the bookshelves. We had
Mhm.
lived in Albuquerque, and we had
Wow.
all the artists and everybody coming and going from our home.
Mhm.
And it was just like a really cool, family. We didn't have a church that we belonged to. I did go to churches occasionally with my friends when I spent the night at their house. So, I went like hoping, oh, I'm gonna learn a bunch of stuff, and it was never really what I was hoping to learn. So, and then yeah, later on as an adult, my daughter brought home a witchcraft book. It was True Magic by Amber Kay.
Mhm.
And she's like, Mom, look what I got. I'm going to learn how all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I took the book and I flipped through it. I was like, I just knew instinctively that probably most kids are going to flip to the back
Yeah.
and just do the spells and not read the rest. So I was like,
Yes.
okay, here's the thing. You're going to read it. I'm going to read it. You're going to do a book report. And then if that's what you want to do, go for it. That sounds great. So she read it, handed me the book. I read it. I was like, holy moly, this is the stuff I've been doing my whole life that I've always believed. And here it is in a book.
Right.
So, yeah.
That is really, I think that's, you're the first
Yeah.
person I've spoken with who said that this came to them or actually clicked. There was a pivot
Mhm.
moment working with your child, and that's
Yeah.
a really cool piece.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
It's
That's
neat.
really
It's
interesting.
really
Yeah,
neat. And
it
it's
It
really
like,
is.
wasn't the other way
true.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
totally true. And it's stuff I've always believed. And
yeah.
weirdly enough, I actually was kind of trying to do spells before I ever, like when I was in like high school.
Sure.
And even after that, I was like, no, there's an energy. I can feel it. I know it's there. I can feel it, but I had no clue how
What
to
it was.
proceed because,
Right.
in the 80s, there
Yeah.
wasn't that much. So yeah, once it was really neat to have
Yeah.
read that book. But I mean, I grew up in a household where we had astrology books, and
Right.
you might remember the pyramid things that they had you could buy, and it was like a wire pyramid that came down, and you'd set it over your fruit, and it was like supposed to keep your fruit from going bad. And my
Yes.
parents were doing transcendental meditation, and
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah.
we were
So,
just
so
like,
they, yeah.
the idea of, oh, I think I can harness some kind of energy that's around me and maybe do a spell wasn't that
So
weird.
far off.
Right,
Right. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So those were all the seeds, and then that moment, that
Yeah.
click happened, and I think that's just powerful. That's all.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what? It kind of makes sense that when, especially when you're coming through the 90s, because by then, the Wiccan book was written in 1988. So from
Mhm.
then on, things kind of changed the naming to the Wicca
Mm, mhm,
part,
mhm.
and so that's what a lot of people saw and read and got
Yeah.
imbued with. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I can see where that whole thing trajectory kind of went. From there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So, okay, kind of segues a bit into me asking you from your point of view, not anyone else's, but your point of view, what does it mean to be a witch?
Ah, yes. Yes. So, I mean, for me, being a witch is deciding where you're going to go in life. I think a lot of people kind of we've and a lot of us during different times in our lives, I know I have kind of floated through life like a feather, and we talked about this the last time, the beginning scene of Forrest Gump with the feather floating down, and that's kind of like his journey. It's about his journey. He just kind of flowed on the wind,
Yes.
right? But to me, a witch, well, we steer ourselves. We have a ship, and instead of
Right.
floating on the wind, we're steering our ship.
Yeah.
And we use our witchcraft tools, and all of them, not just spellcraft, but meditation, connection to spirit, and all these things to steer our ship where we want it to go, to steer our lives where we want it to go. And you only have to turn that udder just a little bit or that rudder just a little bit to really get you in that right direction where you want to be. And it's amazing the places that you go and the people that you meet just through that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely correct.
So when you look at your practice, how is it a part of your day-to-day life? How do you incorporate your witchcraft or your magic into your everyday?
That's a big part of it for me because, like I said, back in the day, I would do like a full big ritual where I'd have like the big altar. I'm calling in the corners. I'm doing the whole thing. And these days, that is my witchcraft. It's just part of my everyday. I hardly ever will break out a big ritual like that unless there's some serious stuff going down. And then I'm like,
Right.
oh, hey, okay, I still know how to do all this,
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, I wake up literally, my feet don't hit the floor in the morning until I've done some gratitude and a meditation. Usually, even if it's just a brief meditation, I'll do some kind of meditation. I
Yes.
connect with spirit before I go to sleep at night. When I'm eating my breakfast, I'll light a candle and I'll just have that moment of this is my time,
Yeah.
to kind of just get into the place where I am. But for me, magic just follows me throughout my day. I put magic into every darn thing that I do. If I'm cooking, I'm thinking about what these herbs are that I'm putting in. I'm doing everything mindfully because I think that even the small things that we do throughout our day, they have an effect,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
really do.
Good.
So for me, yeah, everything's magic that that I should
Yeah.
do. And that's a big part of what I teach people too, through my YouTube channel and my books, is
Mhm.
that I think it's really important for us to remember that we are magic.
Right.
It's not a thing that we do, it's a thing that we are. It's
Right. Exactly.
part of our
Yeah.
being, as we walk through the world. And I notice the difference if if I have to run errands and I go to the store and I'm in a magical mindset, beautiful things unfold. A weird conversation, just a beautiful conversation, or I'll meet somebody that I didn't expect to meet, or something wonderful. If I go to the store and I'm not in that magical mindset, I'm not in that moment of just being, I'm one with everything and everything is one with me.
Yes.
It's cranky city and I'll leave feeling terrible. So it's just like, yeah, I find that if I can just keep that magical mindset going, it really, I find
It
it's
helps. It
beneficial.
helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
huge. That
Yeah.
is so
And it's
huge.
something that I think a lot of us that as educators with about witchcraft in any way, we
Mhm.
try to instill that in everyone we're teaching, that this is not a fad. This is not
Right.
a thing you're going through,
Right.
or being, like you said, the feather just kind of being gliding through it all. No,
Hmm.
Right.
this is who you
Yeah.
are. So if
Yeah.
you don't affect that in any way and push it yourself to where you want it to go, then you can't really call yourself a witch. At least I don't see it that way in my head. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but it's the same as when I leave my home with the car. From the time I leave to the time I come back, everything I'm thinking, finding the parking for where I need to park, doing my
Mhm.
magical things that I know to find, and I drive in, and I'm like, cool sailing. I find the
Yep.
parking. This is New York City, and I find the parking every single place.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all good. I'm all good. But yeah, it has to be part of your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Every day.
Okay.
Every day. Yeah. You never stop being a witch. And
That's
Yeah.
it's,
it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a hat you put on. It's
No, right.
in
Right.
You
you.
never stop learning. That's one of the things that we
Exactly.
always say too. We never stop learning because we don't know everything, and there's always more for us to absorb and learn. So it's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about what's important to you that you found.
Whew, see, that's such a big topic. And there's a lot of things that are
Yeah.
important to me. And
Yeah.
those things shift as well, like
Yeah.
what we're talking about, because we're constantly learning. But I think the most important thing, I think what it all comes down to is finding balance in your life,
Mhm.
between the magical and the mundane. For me, it's sometimes been a challenge. I spent a lot of time with my head more in the magical and less in the mundane. So that's not always a good thing. You know, but I find that, like therapy really helps. I find that the magical work really helps. We talk about shadow working and stuff like that, and that's so important. And
Yeah.
it just sounds really cool, but it's not. It's not. It's like
A lot of work.
work.
It's a lot
scary,
of work.
and it's
A lot of work.
hard,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel good. It feels like digging a splinter out of your skin, but it's all worth it. It's
Yeah.
all worth it. So
Exactly.
yeah, definitely. And then I think the other thing that is really important to me that I try to bring to other people is this idea of, and it's weird because I sell magical goods,
Mm-hmm.
but to me it's like, yes, those things are lovely and we love to have those things. But man, if you are out in your car and you need to whip up some magic really fast, and you maybe have like some salt in your on your dashboard, and you've got like there's a plant growing in the street, you could do it. You don't have to have all the things. And I love all the things and I want all the things.
Yeah.
They're beautiful and I love them. I want the fanciest candles. I want
We
all of
love
it.
our paraphernalia. We
But
do.
it's
Yes.
because it's beautiful and I love beautiful things. It's not because that's where the magic is. And I think
Well said.
that's what's important, is that
Yeah.
people just always need to remember, if I don't have these necklaces on, I'm still protected.
Yes.
If I don't have my altar, I could still connect with my deities. It doesn't matter.
Well
Yeah.
said.
None of that matters. It's just, I say it all the time. I sign it when I write it to people, and I say it on my channel. I say, be your magic. And it's not just because I think it sounds kind of nifty. It's because it's really real. It's stand in your power. Be
That's
who
it.
you are. And the rest will follow. The rest will always follow. And I just think that's probably the most important thing, is just to know who you are and
Awesome.
That is
stand
beautiful.
in that.
And
Well,
those are such powerful messages. Exactly. Stand in your power and be who you are.
yeah.
So, speaking about that, how perhaps this next question can be somewhat related, but it's really looking at your relationship now with the community that we are all a part of. Tell us about the community and you and what work you may be doing within the community, or what is important for you right now with your relationship with the community.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that are really important, and some things that maybe I wasn't always paying attention to that I am paying attention to now. And it's things like, you know, once you see something, you can't unsee it. And
Right.
that's a good thing. It's a very
Exactly.
good thing. I feel like I have a really awesome community over on my YouTube and my socials. I love the people there. Most of them are kind of on board with me and the same stuff that I am. I don't have time for racist crap. I
Mhm.
don't have time for bigoted stuff. I'm working on new ways to try to be more helpful with like the LGBTQ community and the trans community. A lot of those, my family members, I've got 2 kids who are queer. I've got, I've had family members since I was a little kid, so it's like,
Right.
but who cares if they're my family? Because it doesn't matter, because everybody needs to have fairness.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves to have just basic human rights.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think as witches, it's our responsibility to A, work the magic to help it happen, and B, do those mundane actions to make it happen. You cannot do just one or the other. If you're a witch, do both.
Yes.
You know, I love the idea of doing witchcraft for all kinds of things, to help the environment, to help humanity, to
Mhm.
help people who are struggling and oppressed and need, as well as people who need healing because they're maybe on the wrong side of that, and maybe they're just not seeing what they don't know, because we don't know what we don't know,
Right.
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 you know.
Right.
But gosh, it's been the last several years has been so eye-opening and
Yeah,
so
Ah,
hard and so
yeah,
good all
yeah.
at the same time, all rolled into one. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's what was needed because, I mean, I don't want to go through life with blinders on, and
Right.
I don't think it's good for anybody. I think
right,
it's better for us to be aware of
right,
what's happening in the world and try. And that's the thing. Once you've seen it, you can't you can't go back to just being complacent. You have to
right.
do something.
Well said.
So
Exactly. That's true.
it's
You
not
can't
easy,
not
but
know
it's
what you know.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of said so much there, but one of the grains of thought that I really heard coming through is we should be on the right side of history as witches because this is who we are.
Yeah.
We've been oppressed for so long.
Hmm.
So if we don't feel empathy to people or anything, any sentient being in this society being oppressed, then I can't really consider you being a witch because I'm then wondering, it's not just empathy, it's everything we know that has life and respect for that.
Mhm.
That's just it across the board. So just hearing you say that brought a lot of those kind of thoughts to my mind. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I totally
Yeah.
agree with that. That's back in the day, that was one of the basics.
I
Mhm.
know, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know what changed along the way that now we see so many that have different ideologies with that. And I'm sitting there going,
How?
are you
Well,
seriously a witch?
exactly.
I'm just questioning for a second, and then I have to walk away because I can't. But anyways,
Yeah. I do a
moving
lot of that too. I
Yeah.
do a lot of
moving
that
on before
too.
we want to get to you, not the
Yeah.
world politics, but
I
to
feel like
you.
I always have to come back to it though,
I
because
know.
you know what, like fighting for my trans family members has
Mhm.
become super important for me. And the truth
Yeah,
is, you know what, if people get mad about it or they want to do whatever, I can't be bothered with that because no
yeah,
matter how much flack I might get for it, my trans family, my trans friends, and the
Yeah.
people I don't even know, they're getting a lot more.
A lot
So I'm
more.
like,
Yeah.
and you know what? It's same thing with my friends who are, BIPOC friends, my everybody,
yeah,
everybody who's fighting the fight.
right,
They're getting a lot more flack than I am. I'm a woman, I get some flack, but not as much as a lot of other people. So it's like
right.
if I can't
Stand up
take
for
a
the
little
rest
bit,
of them.
then
Exactly.
what good is it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of
Not
segues
walking
into
the
my
walk
next question.
at that point.
Yeah.
That kind of segues into the next question of what would you like to see us as witches accomplish? Because it kind of like you went into because it's become such a formidable and forefront topic for a lot of
Mhm.
us,
Yeah.
stepping up and being part of the fight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That it's just oy vey. It's
Yeah.
just so much,
It's
but
so much.
yeah,
It's so much. And one of the things I found is that sometimes you just have to pick one battle at a time. And
Mhm.
yeah,
maybe, this week it's this one. And then if you feel that you need to switch it out, okay, now it's going to be this one because we're all just individuals. So
Yeah.
it's, I want to fight all the battles. I want to fight all of the battles. But having the discernment to understand that maybe I can't all the time, but sometimes those battles will just come up in
yeah,
a
Mhm. Mhm.
situation, and then we have to be strong, even if we're people who maybe don't like confrontation. We have to be the person to say, we're not using that word anymore,
Right.
or
Right.
or
Right.
maybe try looking at it from this perspective and that. So there's times when we have to be that person,
yeah.
whether it's uncomfortable or we don't like it. So I mean, I don't know what I like to see witches do. Let's like smash the patriarchy. How about like I'd like to just completely obliterate white supremacy. How about make the planet in such a situation that maybe it can sustain our lives for longer than it's looking like maybe we're going to
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
for. I mean, all of these things, but
So many
it's
battles, right?
so much.
Yeah.
So
I
They're
think
very big,
it, it
bite
it's
size.
it's funny. It's funny in a way, but until we ourselves learn to respect one another as human beings,
right.
all those other things that we would like to try to battle,
Yeah.
I don't think
Mhm.
we'll ever accomplish those if we don't first of
Right.
all
Yeah,
learn to
it's a
respect each other
primary.
as human beings
Right.
with the
Yeah.
right to just be able to have the same as everyone else. That
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
a bottom line, a base.
The
Right.
respect.
Until that's accomplished, everything else feels like it's insurmountable because, hey, we can't even do that basic thing
Yeah.
Yeah,
with each other.
respect each
Right.
other.
We have to take away things. And if, the word, I could not believe I heard somebody on my profile said the word woke as negative. And I'm like,
Mhm.
Mm.
woke is just a word for being black or for being transgender or anything that they
Yeah.
want to
Just
put
saying
down.
that you're
That's all
aware of
the word,
something.
Right.
that's all it really means to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
But they'll take it
But
and make it into a whole book saying, I'm like,
Mhm.
woke simply
it's
means I woke up, okay? I
yeah.
was
Right.
sleeping and I've now awoken.
I've
Okay,
opened my
that's
eyes.
all it is, and I'm aware. I am not stupid and uneducated anymore. I
Yeah.
am a certain way. And to hear a witch or see a witch on my profile put the word woke out as a negative, I was just like, bitch, please.
Yep.
Just take it and
Yeah,
leave.
Yep.
yeah.
But anyway,
Well, that's just because people have chosen to use this as a weapon as opposed to
yeah, I'm like, are
Yeah.
you thinking
it's marketing.
weapons of
It's
mass
great
destruction?
marketing, and
Right,
McDonald's
Mhm.
has great marketing too. So
right, right.
Yeah.
let's go
Weapons.
on to another topic though.
Yeah,
Um, and because you've mentioned a few things, which I mean, you've mentioned your channels, you've mentioned that you have these other venues. What projects do you have coming up? Where should we be
Oh
looking to
man.
see what's coming up next?
Well,
Or at
first
least
of
even things
all,
you're thinking about
I
doing.
gotta get my butt back on YouTube
okay.
because I have
Well, you're
not
here.
done
You're
a
here.
video in months, and
Okay, so
it's
it's
not
time.
a good thing. Honestly, I will tell you what I've was kind of going through this whole thing where I got diagnosed with ADHD back in October, and you kind of have that moment of where it's like when you get to the high part of a roller coaster, and
Mhm.
then right before it goes down where you're like hovering in midair and you're like, wait, what,
Right.
huh?
Yeah.
And then you start to reassess every little bitty aspect of who you are and what you do, and like everything you've done in your life so far, and you look at it through the lens of being neurodivergent, and you're
Mhm.
like, oh gosh, that explains so
So,
much.
yeah.
It's weird. So I think part of my kind of taking a break from YouTube was almost just me needing to just like kind of decompress from that whole thing.
And
Yes.
refresh.
And so that's been really weird, but I feel like I just need to rip off the band-aid and get back on there because I love it. I enjoy it. It's so much fun, and I love my community there. So I'm really excited to get back on there. I have so many good ideas for videos that I want to get started
Excellent.
on, neat
Oh,
things to show people. And this is really cool. I have well, there is one deck project that I'm working on a proposal for. There's
Excellent.
also a book I'm working on a proposal for, and both of these are like top secret. Can't talk about them yet because they're not
Perfect.
through the
yeah. All
proposal
right.
process
Yes.
Sounds good.
yet. But then there's something really neat coming up. I have a book that's coming out, and I don't know exactly when. I think it's coming out the beginning of next year. And you've probably seen these cute little books.
Oh, okay.
So these
Yeah.
are not mine, but I'm have written the Aquarius book that goes with this,
Oh, Llewellyn, I believe, right?
right? With
Yeah,
Llewellyn,
yeah,
with
yeah.
Yep.
Ivo Dominguez Jr. Because I'm Aquarian, they asked me if I would like to write the Aquarius book, and I'm like, I'm so freaking Aquarian. Sign me up. I am
Yes.
the most Aquarian girl. And it was funny too because when I was writing it, I was trying to kind of tease out the aspects of myself that this part's Aquarian, but this part's ADHD, because a lot of those kind of dovetail weirdly.
Yes.
So that was kind of fun. But yeah, the book is so much fun. There's so much cool stuff in there, and I just can't wait for everybody to see it. I don't even know what the cover is going to
I
be
have
like
to
yet. I
share.
can't wait. So yeah,
I'm excited
it's
in sharing
going to
with
be
you.
fun.
I am not the author of the Scorpio, but I am a
Yes,
contributing
you
author to the
are.
Scorpio.
Yes, you
Oh
are. I
yeah,
love
that's a
I am
that.
huge
so proud of her with
project.
that.
Yes, and Thank you. And we did have Evo on here
I forgot when we
a
had
couple
him.
months
Yeah.
back. I
I
forget. It
watched
was
that.
a
It
couple
was
months back.
fantastic. He is
Yeah.
lovely.
Yes,
I
Yeah.
love Evo. He
he
is
really
so
is.
great.
He
What a
really is.
good
I
guy.
used to I was a member of the Assembly of Sacred Wheel for several years, and yeah, he is absolutely
Yeah, he
lovely.
really
So
is. And
I'm excited for this. I can't wait to get that entire
can you
series and
believe
see what
he
everyone is
basically wrote
about.
12 books?
Oh no,
I'm like, how?
ridiculous. I can believe it because that
It
is
is. It
Evo. He
is.
does work
Yeah,
like
it
that,
really is.
but it's
It is.
ridiculous.
Right.
But
Well, and I
so
learned so
thank
much
you for
from him.
sharing
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh, wait. As since you have all those projects in play, what about events? Do you have any events coming up either this year or early next year
I
that you would like to
do.
share with us? Okay.
I don't do many events. I'm just kind of sitting on the couch, like watching Netflix, going, oh. But I do have one event that I'm doing, and I feel terrible because I have. Wait, maybe I wrote it down here. Look at me. I am such a hot mess, ladies.
That's
Okay.
okay.
No,
It's
it's
I
all
good.
did
good.
write it down.
All
Oh, thank
good.
goodness I did write it down. Okay, so yeah, this month, it'll be August 25th at 2 p.m. Central. It is, and I'm reading this. This
Yeah.
is the Llewellyn Virtual Author Forum, and it's going to be creativity and your magical craft. I'm so excited because it's going to be a
Fabulous.
roundtable discussion. It's going to be with Astrea. I hope I say her name right, and I actually need to ask. I don't know if it's Astrea or Astrea, but I think it's Astrea Taylor. I love her. I follow her, but when you only see someone's name written, you might not always know. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And
Exactly.
Laura Tempest Zakroff and Rachel Henderson and myself. So we're all going to be on
Fabulous.
there talking about creativity and magic and the intersection of that. So I'm really excited
Yeah,
That
yeah.
because I think those ladies are
that sounds
great. And I
fabulous.
was really delighted to be like included to be, involved with something with them because they're very cool. So
Awesome. Awesome.
That is
yeah.
fabulous. And yeah, we've had Laura Tempest on here, Zakroff, a few times, I
Yeah.
Yeah,
think.
we had her on a panel, one of
We
our
so
Magical Witchy
that's
TV
right.
panels that we bring uncomfortable topics to. So we
Oh
might
yeah.
invite you to one of those uncomfortable topics at some point. We
Yes.
do every now and then put out those panels and bring in people, and we have this roundtable discussion
Yeah.
about it because we just have to hit those
Yeah.
uncomfortable subjects every now and then.
Yeah.
So
No, you're right. You're right.
yeah,
And I'm one of those people who did not like to used to have uncomfortable conversations. I like to go, oh, let's go talk over.
as if everything is okay, but we know it's not.
Everything's fine here. Well, I did it to myself too. And see, that's the thing. I
Yeah,
grew up in a weird headspace, and it's not all ADHD. It's also trauma response and all kinds of stuff. I grew up with I was that dog where the room is on fire and he's sitting there with his cup and he's going, this is fine. And I spent
Yeah.
way too many years in that headspace and I'm never going back.
right, right. I think actually the
Right
last
on.
few
Right
years
on.
has made all of us come out of our
Yeah.
shells or out of wherever it
Yeah.
is and kind of go, oh no, 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 no. We are
Hmm.
forefront. We are like in the front and we're battling with it all, you know. So
Yeah.
there we go. So
Yeah. It's not just to
Absolutely.
heal, it heals ourselves and it heals
yes,
it heals
Yes.
society. It's like we have to do it all at the same time
yeah,
because
yeah,
we were steeped in
Absolutely.
all of these things and we have to
yes,
find a way to get them out. It's kind of cool because my husband and I will go back and forth with stuff like, sometimes he'll say something, and I'll be like, wait a minute, let's think about that. He's like, oh yeah, the other day he called me out for saying something that was very not feminist. And I was like, oh, that's my inner patriarchy thing coming out. And he's like, I hope I didn't offend you by saying that. I'm like, no, I'm glad you said it because that helps me to see that I have that in there because that's not helping me,
yeah.
it's
Right.
not helping
Right.
me to have those.
I
So
think
it's
yeah,
going to be forevermore, and that's okay.
yeah.
We're never going to
Yeah.
stop
We have
doing
to
the
It's
work
work.
with
actually
what is that shadow work that we were talking
Yeah,
about earlier? Dealing with all that
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that gunk.
yeah. We're not perfect.
Well, we have your info scrolling at the bottom of the screen, so people know where to find you. But is there anything else they should look for? Any place else to find any of your information? Or is this the best
That
spot?
is the
This
best spot because all my
mickeymueller.com.
links are there. But if you know what,
Okay.
if you're on Facebook, I'm Mickie Mueller, and if you're on Instagram, Mickie Mueller. There's no like squiggles or spaces that are weird because there's a lot of people that are trying to scam people these days. So don't.
Yes. Yeah. Sad
So
but
yeah, it's
true.
just
Sad but
just Mickie Mueller. That's it. Keep it simple. And I'm on TikTok
Perfect.
on Mickie Mueller official. I can't even pronounce my own name at this point. Mickie Mueller. Mickie Mueller official,
Mickey.
and then on YouTube I'm Mickie
Official.
Mueller Studio. But you can just usually you just Google me and I'll come up. I'll be like waving from behind the scenes.
Okay. Sounds
That's
good. Sounds
awesome.
good.
We cannot
Thank
thank you
you.
Thank
enough
you so
for
much,
joining us
ladies.
and again
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
persisting.
Yeah. And we'll
Exactly.
bring you
We
back for a
really
panel. I
appreciate it.
guarantee
That
we
would be great. I would
will.
love
Okay.
that. I would
Yeah.
Yeah,
love
Yeah.
that.
Awesome.
Okay.
that would
Thank
be
you
Thank
again
you.
so,
Thank
so
you,
much.
Mickey.
Appreciate it.
And for the rest of you, we want to share one of our additional shows here on Magical Witchy World TV.
All right.
And now it's astrology time.
Yay. All right. And today, once a month, we do all of our different signs and what to expect throughout the month. So tonight is that night. And we'll begin with Aries and Aries rising. Aries, the North Node now is in your home sign, and Venus is enjoying being in your fifth house of fun, physical exertion, and creativity. The possibilities of a more open, airy expansion life. Virgo activates in your sixth house of work, boundaries, and physical limits with a Mercury retrograding starting on August 23rd, that you have a chance to draw contracts for how you'd like to engage and emerge in the world. Okay. Take this time now to create protective barriers for yourself. Many things are coming. So, September promises exciting dating and collaborative experiences. So, set the terms of play now so that you can really enjoy yourself later. All right.
Yes. Also, for our Taurians, for Taurus and Taurus rising folk, your focus so far has been in Leo, in your fourth house of home and rootedness, where you've imbued beauty and a measure of peace into your daily life and surroundings. As this month progresses, much of the action shifts to Virgo in your fifth house of creativity and physical experience. So release any familial baggage you can. Release it. Let it go. Ask for help if and when you can. And ask the question, do you feel strong and safe enough? If so, that's good. But now so now it's time to really begin, to really get started.
All right. Thank you. And Gemini and Gemini rising. Okay, let's see. You've pushed yourself to new heights this year and to new extremes as well. The Saturn and Pisces saga continues in your 10th house of career and public glory, offering lessons about how far you wish to go and where you get to draw the line. Fortunately, the Sun, Mars, and Mercury draw the focus of your embodiment to your fourth house of home, rooting, and mental stability. With Mercury retrograding on August 23rd, you have time to set the tangible, practical, and essential terms of your engagement. If you were to be given the gig of your dreams tomorrow, what would be in your rider? Think about it. How many hours of sleep do you need? What do you need to perform consistently? And tend to all of this in preparation for the Pisces full moon on the 30th, which brings your big picture efforts to a spectacular culmination. All right.
Excellent. Awesome. Cancer and Cancer rising people, in your Venus retrograde and Leo horoscopes, we advised you to invest in a makeover so that your wardrobe can act as a vehicle for your growing confidence. As the Sun and Mercury join Mars in Virgo in your third house of daily life, the inner renovation expands. So, from your closet into your everyday aspect of the day to day. So, from closet to everything. The Mercury retrograde in Virgo on August 23rd asks you to consider which parts of the mundane feel stagnant and out of sorts with your booming social and spiritual life. Are your daily calls with your mother bumming you out? Is your work schedule sucking your life away? Do you even care about training for this marathon? Bring clarity and possibility to the smallest parts of your conscious life so that the big downloads have a place to
All
land.
right, that's awesome. And
Mhm.
Leo and Leo rising, all of 2023 so far has led to this month. Venus retrograde in your home sign. A spectacular Sun Venus Kazimi, or conjunction as they put it, in Leo on August 13th, and a Leo new moon on the 16th. So if ever there was a time to accept yourself entirely and proclaim your gifts to the world proudly and refuse to compromise at all, it's now. Jupiter will continue to radiate in your 10th house of career for months to come, and the Mercury retrograde in Virgo begins on the 23rd in your second house of earning and self worth. So essentially, you'll have time to negotiate the finer points coming in September. All right?
September.
Yeah.
Excellent. So for our Virgo and Virgo rising, Mars and Mercury are already in your home sign and will be joined by the Sun on August 23rd. Take advantage of this roaring firepower and let yourself go on the offensive. Of course, as the planets light up Virgo, they oppose Saturn, always about boundaries with Saturn, and Neptune, about delusions, in Pisces. And that will be in your seventh house of others. Your rush of self expansion will set off conflict in your relationship arena. So, this is a critical moment to learn about limits, accountability, and trust. But lessons can only be synthesized in action. Don't hold back. Let yourself act out and learn how to reconcile with total accountability as needed. It all builds up to the Pisces full moon on the 30th, a culmination point for all the relationships in your life. You'll have earned this
All
celebration.
right. And Libra rising people. With Venus in Leo in your 11th house of community and the North Node in Aries lighting up your relationship arena, it's been a busy summer. You've been out, engaged, and collecting data for months. As for the planets, as the planets enter Virgo, the sign of processing, they cross your 12th house of incubation, healing, and closure. The Mercury retrograde in Virgo on the 23rd helps you review all your accomplishments of the last few months before Libra season sets you off on a new campaign of action. So take some time for reflection, solitude, and synthesis so that you can feel whole and ready since September when once September hits. Okay?
Right on. All right, for our Scorpio and Scorpio rising folk, with a Sun Venus Cazimi or conjunction on August 13th and a Leo new moon on the 16th, your 10th house of career and public visibility is burning hot as ever. But are you alone in this? As more questions come from Taurus in your seventh house of relationships regarding where you still need support, connection, and care as you push your big metamorphosis through. With Virgo season and Mercury retrograde in Virgo, both beginning on the 23rd, in your 11th house of community and higher values, take some time to do some recruiting and networking. Think about whose work do you admire? Who can you ask for help? The more you can expand your social worlds, the more lifted you'll feel in your career
All
arena.
right. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising people, Mercury, Mars, and the Sun will reside in Virgo this month in your 10th house of your career and public ambitions. You have the clarity to discern, plan, and execute the year's large scale enterprises. As the planets hit Virgo, they'll oppose Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your fourth house of home, roots, family, and mental stability. There's only so far You can launch yourself before having to return home. Make sure to establish security and safety for yourself so that your career, business, etc., any of those things can have a strong base. And on the 30th, all your work comes to fruition with the Pisces full moon. And celebrate landing where you belong there, okay? All right.
Right on, right on. All right, for our Capricorns and Capricorn rising, as the summer comes to a climax, you're ready to look ahead. The activation of Mars, the Sun, and Mercury in Virgo goes down in your ninth house of expanding horizons, studies, institutions, and gatekeepers. Essentially, the vantage point of the vantage point to what comes next. With Virgo season and the Virgo Mercury retrograde beginning on the 23rd, line up what you'd like to attack in the months to come. With Mars entering Libra on the 27th in your 10th house of career, you're feeling the momentum. So you have this time to get clear on who you need to ask for help, which blind spots have yet to be covered, and where you'd like to go for the final third of the
All
year.
right. That is so beautiful. Aquarius and
Hmm.
Aquarius rising people. Venus retrograde in Leo continues to set off your seventh house of others, and with a Sun Venus conjunction on August 13th and a Leo new moon on the 16th, there's a sense of solar possibilities radiating on every new face you meet. However, all planetary progress in Leo will square or challenge Jupiter, that expansion, and Uranus, which is the awakening, in Taurus, in your fourth house of home and rootedness. You will have to learn the difference between compromise and self annihilation and affirm what you need to feel safe in yourself before anyone else can come into the future. Learn to think of self. On the 15th, the asteroid Juno joins Lilith in Leo. These are two femme archetypes who don't go quietly. Don't wait for your lovers to suddenly know your needs. Speak up. All right? Let them have it. Raise hell if you have to. But tell them what you want
Hmm.
and demand to have it. Okay? All right.
Right on, right on. Thank you. Pisces and Pisces rising. With the Sun, Mars, and Mercury hitting Virgo in your seventh house of others, you're in for immediate and impactful stimulation when it comes to relationships. The catch? As the planets go through Virgo, they oppose Saturn, which is about self development, and Neptune, self dissolution, in your home sign. With every first date or fight with your spouse, your insecurities, codependencies, and blurred margins of selfhood will be revealed. Fortunately, the Mercury retrograde in Virgo, running from August 28th through September 15th, gives you time to fill the gaps between who you are and what you're projecting. The full moon in Pisces on the 30th offers a speculative chance, a spectacular chance, excuse me, a spectacular chance to accept and embrace your fearful, sensitive, vulnerable self and to stop overcompensating.
Listen to that advice. All right.
Right on. All righty. So now it's time to pull some cards.
Yay. All right. So let's shuffle those cards, and we're going to be pulling a card for revealing more about you during the rest of this month. So you'll be prepared for September because lots are coming in September. Okay. So pull that one
Okay.
card that will be revealing a lot for you. And think about what, we said to you guys about your particular sign and the things and how it
Mhm.
relates to you. Okay. All right.
So I'm pulling my card and I'm Scorpio. So let's go ahead and see what's coming for the rest of this month. And I have, ooh, look at this. Three of
All
Pentacles.
right.
Three of Pentacles. What does Three of Pentacles talk about? And I'm just going to refresh everybody's memory because this was something that came up in our discussion about Scorpio tonight. Scorpio was about, let's just go backwards. Scorpio was about asking the questions, who can you work with? Think about whose work do you admire? Who can you ask for help? The more you can expand your social world, the more lifted you'll feel in your career arena. Three of Pentacles is about collaboration, building a strong foundation. And I like to look at these three people and say, oh, they're the specialists. They're the people who are really good at what they do. And I need to be coordinating and collaborating with my team who are well learned and educated and know what they're about. And according to my astrology, that's what I should be doing. So yeah, yet again, we have cards that are just pulling up, just reaffirming this is really what I need to be doing, working with and building my team and working to build my foundation. Three of
Yeah,
Pentacles.
yeah. All right. And again, you can't make this up because this is the one I
Hmm.
got. I've got the Four of Wands. And if you're looking at this, I see so much creativity, so many things that it just falls into place. And for the Aries and Aries rising, which is what I am, um, it's mentioned that Venus is enjoying being in our fifth house of fun, physical exertion, and creativity. Venus is having a good old time up in there. So we are, to me, well, I know it's not a bed, but you know that the four-poster bed with the things on the top.
Yeah,
That's what this reminds me of. And Venus is already there, enjoying her time and
yeah,
everything else. And I'm like, we having
yeah,
a lot of creative fun, but a lot of it brings a lot of money. I'm sorry, but money's a big thing for us. It plays a lot. So everything to us is money involved as well, even though there's the sex and the love and stuff going on. We're
yeah, yeah.
like, we're like, okay, well, that's cool, but make sure my money's on the side there. Any creative ways I could think of to come up with my money and everything. Those old fashioned movies, the 70s movies, better not screw up my money.
That's right. Just don't play with my
Exactly.
money.
So the
Yes.
creative ways and anything like that you can think of, this is it. And that the
Oh my
protective
gosh.
barriers has to go up. Everything that four poster protection, everything, all of it. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but this is everything. These cards always play out so well.
They are so
It
it
is
is
on point. Yes,
uncanny. It is absolutely on point. It is absolutely on
right.
point. I don't know. Like we always say it every week, and no, we do not obviously
No,
pull cards
no,
ahead of time
can't. We don't
because
have the
this is
time.
this
We're
is
like at the
really
last minute
entertaining. So
looking at it and going, okay, let's shuffle and
yeah,
pull.
yes,
We don't ever have the time.
exactly,
But it's
exactly.
telling you also to set your terms. Set your terms,
Set
demand
your
your
terms.
needs, and really enjoy
Yeah,
yourself later on. Because if you ask for these things and you put it out in your creativity and all the retrogrades and everything that's going on, bring it out and have fun
yeah.
with it. Laugh a lot,
And please, you guys,
enjoy. Look at us partying
yes,
there. We are having fun.
that is a definite card of
All
joy and
right.
fun.
Do
One
it
of the
with fun, with a smile, with a
so
laugh.
please, everybody watching, if you're watching on the playback, doesn't matter. Just grab your cards and pull
Yes.
one for
And
you.
read for you. Okay. And go and listen to
Yes.
the one that we said about your sign, and you've got it
Yeah.
going on. And anyone who's Aries and Aries rising, I pulled it for you, but pull your own as well and see what you get.
Yes. Right on. Awesome. So, again, a huge thank you to Mickie for
Yes,
joining
we're
us
so happy
tonight.
to have her
Thank you
join
so
us
much.
here.
That was
That was
awesome.
really awesome.
So excited. And I'm gonna dig into her old YouTube videos because I haven't caught any of those. I'm gonna have to go back and
Yeah,
check out her
yeah.
channel. So, and next week, August 18th, we will have with us.
Yes, Shay Matthews.
Yay!
Yay!
So we're excited to have Yeshe back with
Yes.
us. You've seen her on panels before, so we're excited to have her back with us again, and that will be for August 18th, 10 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, what do we always like to
Don't
say,
forget to
Star?
check out our Pagan Ninja playlist and our Pagan music playlist or on our YouTube channel. And we'd like to thank again Mickie, but we would also like you to like and subscribe. And don't forget, we've got a bunch of new shows coming out. We've got High
Yeah.
Strangeness, and I don't know the rest of the name yet. I'm so sorry. We've
Yes.
got A Little Hint of Magic. We've got Curious Herbalism. and more coming
Yes.
for your benefit and your
Yes.
enjoyment and your edification. Okay, please
Yes.
like, subscribe, and share us on YouTube and Facebook,
Share.
and whatever you want to do to
Absolutely.
help us out and keep bringing so that we could keep bringing more of these shows to you. Thank you all very
And
much.
thank you.
And thank you
And
again,
thank you to
Mickie.
Thank you, Mickey, and to everyone who joined us in the
Yes.
chat. We really appreciate you coming in and joining and sharing your comments. And let us know if there's anyone that you'd like us to bring on as a guest. Please let us know
Yep.
sometime. You can
We will,
always comment on
we
our
will
page
definitely try.
on YouTube and on Facebook. We really appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you all
Take
so
care.
much, and we will see you next
Bye.
week.
Love you all.